ladies! I hope you all had a really good week. I know I definitely did. This week I finally got to do more stuff. In general, I got to see more people, I got to do more things. Today I actually went to Universal because my niece and my sister-in-law and my brother are visiting, so we got to do that, which was really fun. And right now I'm at my aunt's house in Azusa. So this week Amy wanted to talk about home. And when I started to think about home, at first, of course, I thought of the whole, oh, the physical place that I live in. But then I realized that home, to me, as Janice and Katie kind of mentioned, it's not solely a physical place for me. Ever since I can remember, my dad has been in the real estate business as a realtor and a manager of homes for different clients that he has. So I've grown up around homes all my life. I think when you're little, you do think home is physical because that's all you really know. Home is where you are, that's just your thing. When I was 9 years old, my parents wanted to move from Sahuarita, which is really close to Tucson. And of course I was like, I don't want to leave, blah blah blah, but I did, and it wasn't that bad because I had so many friends at home. I think the first time that I really realized that home for me wasn't a physical place was when I was 12 years old in the 7th grade. My parents had bought a house from Florence, about an hour or so, give or take, from Tucson, and they hadn't told me until the deal was basically done. I was really upset because my whole life was in Tucson, my friends, my family. I was super active in school. I had 8 classes, I was in every club possible. But we moved, and it was hard at first, but I made friends really fast. I had finally started to believe that Florence was home for me, and I was finally starting to adjust when all of a sudden, right out of the blue, it's probably only 6 months, give or take, it's December, and I have to go back to Tucson. And that is when the real tears came. I was so upset because I had finally settled in, my friends were solidified, everything was perfect. And then my parents are like, nope, we're going home. The reason why we had to come back to Tucson is because, as you all know, the economy went downhill and my dad's business was not doing well with the people who he had in charge. So that happened again, lost a home. So we come back to Tucson. At least I had friends in Tucson. But again, I had to let go of something that I'd gotten so comfortable with. Then high school came along and we had already moved back to the house that we were in previously because we never got rid of it. And it was really good. But, of course, we weren't doing too great, so my parents thought it'd be good to put our house up for rent because it's in the foothills, it was worth a good amount of money, so we thought we would get tenants for it. So for about the majority of sophomore year, I was moving from house to house. I believe we owned all the houses that we were switching from, but none of them were home for me. It wasn't Tucson, it wasn't my friends, it wasn't home for me, it wasn't what I was used to. We went back to my childhood home for about fall semester. Then we went to the apartment complex that my dad owns. It's kind of near the U of A, but it's really not a good area. It wasn't safe. It was a loft. I believe we had 2 dogs, a cat, some birds, and my parents and I, all sharing basically one room. So it was a real eye-opener for me knowing that home isn't solid and how quickly things can change, because the house I had in Florence was 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, big backyard, big front yard, and then we end up in this tiny apartment that's barely worth calling an apartment. Afterwards, we went to another home in Sahuarita for that summertime, and then finally, for junior year, we got an apartment near my high school. Throughout the rest of junior year, I stayed at that apartment, which was cool because it was literally across the street from my best friend's house. Finally, though, at the end of junior year, we decided to move back to the home that we had rented out to those tenants, the one that I'd had previously from the Florence home. And it was great because that's my favorite house. That house really screams home to me if you're gonna look at it from a physical sense. As weird as it may sound, I'm really grateful for my transition from different homes throughout my entire life growing up, because it really showed me that home isn't just where you live. Home is the people you're around, the things that you grow up with, the animals that you have, the friends that you have, the school, the city, everything. It all builds up to this one thing that is home, and what to me is the core of what makes me who I am. And I'm really appreciative for that because that is me, and I'm proud of who I've become, and I'm really happy with myself and my family. So I've put together a little number for you guys to watch that kind of shows you who I am and what makes me me. I don't know if you would call it abstract or different or just a slideshow. I don't really know what to call it, but I hope you guys enjoy and you can see really where I'm coming from if anything that I said didn't make sense.
Oh, my beautiful mother, she told me, son, in life you're gonna go far. If you do it right, you'll love where you are. Just know, wherever you go, you can always come home.
I love you ladies. I'll see you see you soon.